Okay, so one more journal today. I got down to an important point, and what I recognize is I need to go for the comment section. That's where I need to focus my energy, is making content that makes people want to leave comments. And I still know to this moment that dancing in 3D animated worlds over my remixes is the way to go. So how I'm gonna do it? I'm gonna use Trellis to create 3D models. I'm gonna rig them in Blender. I'm gonna use Python with Blender to create a rig that matches the free mocap app's output. I need to play the Just Dance game to get more dance moves in my body and system, and I need to become stronger. I think stronger is great, but I don't know where I need to become stronger in my body. But I know that my mobility, dancing, and strength training are gonna pay off for me long term. Um, and then you got Unity Terrain and Nature. Okay, so check it out. So, um, like having a wife isn't really the flex that it's sold to be, because your lives have to mesh. They need to fit together like puzzle pieces. So what needs to be sold to you, just like your wife is sold to you, is the idea of an audience for your content. That's what you need to be selling to yourself. And it fits. So basically your audience needs to replace your woman, but at the same time, if you can get tech jobs, that needs to replace it too. But I think that instead of tech jobs, we can focus on gig econ and then vehicle maintenance and then just safety precautions while doing Uber airport. I think that could work really well. um and then I will put nightlife in there too, but nightlife would basically be like 5 to maybe like 4 to 8, or maybe 4 to 9, just you out like exploring new DJs. And then DoorDash will be an optional alternative here. Okay. So for me, for a solo success option to do my what I believe is going to work out for me, which is my acapella remixes, Astro beats, and animations, I need to go to Colorado and Phoenix or Atlanta instead of Phoenix. It's just up to you. Like, you're gonna have to try out Phoenix, and then once you try out Phoenix, you're gonna have to determine Phoenix or Atlanta for Uber Airport. And I know that Atlanta is gonna be better, but Phoenix, I believe, is better for networking. But Atlanta's so good for networking. It is hard to put Atlanta in second place for networking. The hardest part for me is I still do not necessarily know the absolute safest way to sleep at night within these setups. I can probably sleep at WeWork, but you got to understand that vehicle maintenance is going to be your main blocker here along this pathway, because we're not even thinking about Asia, so the Philippines or Thailand. We're not thinking about that right now, because you're not going to vehicle maintenance. You're going to go to do that once you're making enough money online from your audience and comment section. You don't even have enough comments right now. You're not going to get those comments until you get really good at creating your animated art. So basically, your dances for the music that you make, the beat remix you make, the acapella remixes, you're gonna do dancing. So vehicle maintenance is key, and if that's the truth, then man, storage unit can work, because you can store like your blocks that you can drive up on to do under the vehicle maintenance, and then you just need jacks. But the hard part you're gonna run into here with this setup is finding a spot where you can work on your vehicle uninterrupted for hours, and even has kind of like margin of error where you are able to make mistakes on the vehicle and still like be uninterrupted wherever you're working on it at. So I don't know how you're going to find these places to work on your vehicle uninterrupted, but what I will say is that having more vehicles is going to be really helpful. So starting off with the Camry and the Honda Element is the best, especially if you have a Uber rental in the area, and then you could always do cargo van rentals as well. If for some reason you lose access to Uber rental or you just don't want to drive Uber this week. Okay, from there you have Element, the Honda Element as a work vehicle, and then the sedan for gig econ. So the people you're going to meet in your life, they're going to have to fit into this system, especially the multi-vehicle and vehicle maintenance system where you're doing your own vehicle maintenance. This is a grounded reality. If you can ground yourself into it, it is quite grounded. Okay, so tangent here. Fortnite Freestyle King has a lot of potential if you stream it with Game Pass, and you can stream easier using standalone emulators in Game Pass instead of your Hyperspin attraction. But yeah, it just keeps coming back to having a woman or a wife isn't really a flex. Honestly, being really good at managing your creative output and your emotions using herbs and music and fitness discipline, that's really what the flex is here. And how this all works together to give you the ideal creative output that gives you that comment section activity that you're looking for. So what I will say here is that Milwaukee does have a Diet Colorado option that I need to try, master, and gamify before I go to Colorado. I need to go ahead and do that. And I do think it's going to be a lot of content related. It's going to be very content related, but yeah, your plan should work with infinite days of no sex. Like you have to just like imagine a life where you just never have sex again, right? Because sex actually gives your body a high that represents a false sense of security. You feel accomplished when you have sex, but when you think about it, that's not really a grounded accomplishment. You're not accomplishing grounding yourself at all. You're accomplishing social acceptance, like an outdated thing that we have in our it's like an outdated validation system. All right, here's the last little bit of the journal. I have to be honest with myself here and understand that some things are higher ROI than others. Me streaming myself playing guitar and making a remix to the Sierra song, although it's great in theory, it might have been better to do it on YouTube. And at the same time, the higher ROI activity at that point would have been the biggest hurdle in your life, which is the trellis. So it might have been a better ROI to work on your trellis and Unity instead of what you did work on. And that begs the question of the GPT Win 4. I'm kind of seeing a value for the GPT Win 4 with Trellis and Unity now. So that's something to think about.